All right, panel, good morning and welcome. Once again, congratulations on the National Remarketing Executive of the Year.
Aren't I up here to get another award?
Yeah, you didn't cut your hand on that, did you? I mean, you're not bleeding.
No, I thought I was.
Okay.
I was told I was getting another award now, no?
Yeah, I don't, yeah, probably.
Just,
Somebody got an award for Howard?
That's why I was up here, I'm sorry.
Have that nice bottle of water. It's Fiji, so it's a nice deal. What I'm going to ask you all to do, I'm going to take a page out of what we did yesterday. So if you will, introduce yourselves, give us some scope as to your current responsibilities. But I also like that element that we kind of threw in there yesterday. What was that first job that maybe lit the fire for you in the automotive industry? You know, it doesn't have to be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but maybe it's just an independent, individual job that really kind of launched your career on that path to where you are today. So, Jennifer, even in lieu of our Remarketing Executive of the Year, we're going to start with you on that end. Do you mind introducing yourself and sharing a little bit of information?
Sure. My name's Jennifer Costabile, and I'm the General Director for rental sales and used vehicle activities at General Motors. And I've been doing that for a couple of years now. Truly enjoy it. It's a great group to work with, and you really do feel the community within this space, which is really nice. Probably why I wanted to do what I do and stay with what I do is when I started out as my first job as a district manager, calling on dealers. And probably that's my passion, is actually working with dealers every single day. It's a very entrepreneurial group of salespeople, service people, and it's just fun working with dealers. So that's why I've always enjoyed it and probably always will. So it's exciting to work with a group of people that really go after the market and take care of their communities.
Welcome. Dave?
Hi. I'm David Nelson. I'm the Director of Pre-Owned Vehicle Operations for Hendrick Automotive Group. We're 96 dealerships across the country in 13 states. I came into the business, I've been called non-traditional. Started my retail experience in the restaurant business. So opened up Uncle Julio's in Dallas, Texas, and we grew that into an 11-unit chain across the country, sold that. I'm probably the only guy in the room that's qualified to cook fajitas for 400.
Later today, later. We'll need it.
I'm also a recovering attorney, and fell into the auto industry through First Look. So I was one of the early employees at First Look, was instrumental in helping develop that software, and worked there for 11 years helping dealerships across the country improve their performance. Back before it was mandatory to have software to do that. It was really a pretty tough sell. Had a lot of fun with that, and then was basically made an offer that I could not refuse at Hendrick Automotive Group. So,
very good. David, welcome. And Brooks is pinch hitting this morning. Heath could not join us, so Brooks, thanks for stepping into the gap. Appreciate
no worries.
That.
I'm Brooks Stewart from Drive Time Car Sales. I'm the Director of Purchasing and Remarketing. Been with Drive Time about 10 years. What got me into this industry is I grew up in it, and my first job in the automobile industry was a bucket and a hose and washing cars at my dad's lot. So from there, it's grown into where I've done. It's been a lot of fun and a lot of great companies, and that's what I enjoy every day about it.
I'm Kurt Cornell. I'm the General Manager for Pre-Owned Remarketing and Fleet Operations at Mercedes-Benz USA. Fortunate enough to have some great teams. One of my team members is here, Mike Acosta, running remarketing. And I was motivated to get into the car business because I was 27, broke, and living in LA with my mom and dad. And if you knew my mom and dad, you'd be motivated too. And Ford Motor Company offered me a job in Boston, and you don't need any more motivation than that.
That's great. And Howard?
I'm Howard Segal. I'm the National Remarketing Manager for Wells Fargo. And if I think back to my first job on the automotive side, I got to go back to my early 20s in retail when I started a dealership in South Jersey and went to my first auction. And once I went to my first auction, which was in New Jersey in Bordentown, that was it. I was going to do this, but I've eaten at restaurants. I haven't really been in the restaurant business, but I've eaten at them. But once it was just strictly cars. It's been cars for me since I can remember, and it still is. And if I'm not at work, I'm around cars. And I live in Southern California, so it's very car-centric. So that's what I'm involved with every day.
We heard a little bit yesterday about the expected volumes that are coming back in through our industry. But with that comes opportunity, comes probably some worry. Howard, if we could start with you, and then Kurt and Jennifer, if we could just work our way down the line there. What are some of the things, Howard, that are keeping you up at night other than Monday Night Football or whatever it may be you're watching?
How much time do we have that keeps me up at night? For 12, 18, 24 months, we've been listening to increased volumes, off rental, off lease, the continued pressure it's going to place on the pricing, fuel costs, factory incentives, all these different things that were not necessarily positive in regards to what we could look forward to. What we've seen is some increased volume, 4, 5, 6% year over year. Nothing that has been, I wouldn't use the word devastating, but there's been some pressure. We have our normal seasonal adjustments, but I think the market, through maybe some upstream capabilities, has been able to absorb a lot of what we've seen. I think that we're going to see another 5, 6, 7% maybe in 16. I think that the market is robust. I think there's opportunity for absorption. I think that we're going to see some pricing pressure, but I don't see it, at least so far, and at least I don't predict that we're going to see it to the levels that maybe some of the economists have been predicting. I think I have some conversation with Chris, who works with me at Wells, and we talked about the pressures, and we talked about some of the things that we've been seeing, and our results are good, and I expect them to continue to be good because of the market conditions. But again, we keep a close eye on it. We really do. But my projection is 16 is going to be another strong market for the used cars, and we're going to have some volume. We're going to be in it. So I think we just need to continue to measure.
Yeah, very good. Kurt and Jennifer, could you guys follow up on Howard's thoughts and from your perspective, please?
What keeps me up at night is what happens with so I'm hearing it's about a 30% increase in the industry's off-lease projection. Right now, the economy is great, and we're looking at a 17 million plus SAR. What happens if the economy takes a dip during this next 18 months? What happens to the manufacturers that have those increases? Mercedes-Benz went through its off-lease major increase 2 years ago. We're used to it, we're adapted to it. But what happens to the industry if the economy gets soft at the exact same time that other manufacturers are dealing with their 30+% increase in off-lease? Because I'll tell you, as a manufacturer and having sat through those conversations, there is no answer to that. So that's what keeps me up. And how will Mercedes react to it?
Kurt, I'm going to ask you to pull your microphone a little closer to you, if you will, on that. And Jennifer.
I think that from our perspective is that we think that another 2 years we're going to have a very strong new market, and that gives us opportunities in the used market as well. So you're getting new cars in, you're getting trades, you're going to have off-lease returns, we'll have company cars off rental. I think that there's still a lot of pent-up demand. The average age of vehicles on the road is still over 11 years, and you're seeing a lot of new people, the millennials, coming into the market. We think that there's plenty of opportunity with the off-lease and the vehicles that we have coming back to sell to new customers and hopefully bring them into and keep them in our General Motors family. So we really look at it as an opportunity to find new customers, retain ones we currently have, and keep the cycle going.
Very good. David and Brooks, I'll start this next one with you. How has the environment for recalls impacted your business on the used car side? David, we'll start with you, and Brooks, if you don't mind following up from the drive time perspective as well.
It's had a pretty significant effect. We have about 195 million in inventory in used cars, and obviously the new car side of our business is almost twice that size. So almost 10% of our inventory at any given time has an open recall. And the safety recalls, we've taken the position that we won't sell a car with an open safety recall. So it's really forced us to hold those cars and wholesale them if the market is right for those. But we've really seen a correction in the market for those recall vehicles, especially the safety ones. And it's been a pretty tough year in terms of having to hold that. It's really slowed down our turn. It's really caused us to be much more conservative, and it's been a problem.
Yeah.
So,
Brooks.
We're similar to Hendrick in that about 5% of our inventory at any one time has an open recall on it, and we've taken the same stance as Hendrick has on the safety issues, that we've either wholesaled the vehicles or wait for the parts to become available for repair. But we are not putting those cars as of today out on the road with any safety recalls. Anything that's other recalls, I don't know about Hendrick, but we're identifying with the customer if we know it has an open recall. But outside of that, it's really hard today in the industry to figure out what is open and what's closed. So unless you've done the work yourself, it's really hard to discern that.
Part of the
Obviously, our
go ahead.
fixed op department loves the business.
Yeah.
But
Have you been able to put any number or any percentage in terms of any bump from that standpoint?
There has been a bump, but there's also been a corresponding issue with customer pay. You have to take care of your customers first. And when you're using capacity for recalls that you could be using for customer pay, it's a balancing act. And frankly, there's a shortage of technicians. And so we're really pounding the pavement hard to get technicians to get that work done. So.
Interesting. Kurt, one of the points that you made in our preparations as we kind of began to dive a little bit deeper into what this conversation might consist of was a hope on your side, or at least a desire on your side, to see the auctions as that total full-service provider, reconditioning, photos. And can you start that conversation with us? And then Brooks, and be interested in what Jennifer and Howard have to say with regard to that as well.
Sure. We're finding that both our MB franchise dealer and the independent dealers that we have as customers, they're very interested in quick turn. We preach the velocity model, and we find that our customers have adopted it. They're very interested in that, and as part of that, they're looking to us to find solutions to help them turn the cars through their system much quicker. And that in turn means we need to work with our dealers to help prep the cars before they go to auction, and also to work with the auctions to have them retail ready. Mannheim has been a great partner on this. We're working with them to do that. But we really want the cars to be retail ready, or at least available to be retail ready, so that when the independent buyer or the franchise buyer has an immediate need for, let's say, an E350 with a P1 package in white, that car is ready to go right from the auction to the front line. And we have conversations with Odessa and Mannheim, and how are we going to do that? How can we be more efficient and effective in delivering a retail-ready product when that retail-ready need is sitting right there in the open hole on the front line of the dealership? So it's everything from taking quality photos to we're asking them to prepare descriptions of each vehicle, asking to make sure that the car is prepped to Mercedes-Benz CPO standards, et cetera. Everything that the dealership needs to make that car ready to deliver to a customer.
Yeah. Howard, any thoughts from the Wells Fargo perspective?
Well, from my perspective, I have a repossession portfolio only, so it's a little different. So
Right.
I partner with my auctions in regards to accurate condition reports, the pictures, the reconditioning, but the reconditioning levels are different. Obviously, we're looking for optimal retention and turn time, but today, we have a lot of compliance concerns.
Absolutely.
There is a customer-facing aspect to the auction in regards to redemption reinstatement process, and that's a big focal point today in regards to touching the customer point. But our auctions have been a great partner with us, the Mannheim, Odessa, and Independence. There's no doubt we've been asking for more from them in recent years, and we're going to ask more for them in the future. They need to look at their businesses differently than we have ever before. And that's everything from document retention all the way through the process. And at the end of the day, it is about the dealer base, it is about the retention, it is about the service. But there's another aspect to it today that seems to be gaining a lot more attention and will gain a lot more attention as we go forward, especially in the 16. And we're working closely with our auctions as we speak in regards to that piece.
Yep, absolutely. Compliance has been a theme throughout the event, and I'm we've talked about the national panel that'll come later today. It'll be very interesting to hear. Jennifer, Brooks, you guys have anything to add from
Well,
your...
I think our auction partners have been extremely aggressive in helping us get our vehicles frontline ready for our dealers. Our dealers expect it when they buy vehicles from us, and I think it helps us get more dollars for those vehicles. But they've been very innovative in ways that they can create more value for us, and that's kind of what we look for, and we're going to continue to look for, is the innovations that our partners can bring to the table to help us and help our dealers, with speed, with new ways of doing business, whether it's photographs, et cetera. And they've really come with a lot of new innovative ideas, and quite frankly, I think it's going to change dramatically over the next couple of years, is the need for speed and really in a digital world, I mean, you have to be very fast-paced, and I think that they're really looking at different ways to help us do our business better. So I congratulate our auction partners. They've done a terrific job of really thinking outside of the box and trying to help us do our business better.
So I can speak from two different angles here. So from drive time car sales, we've been piloting a program in Chicago with Mannheim that gets our cars ready to go directly to our front line. So we have technicians and staff at Mannheim, Chicago, and they are actually building our cars for us to go directly to our front lines. It's something that they've piloted in Denver, and we've kind of jumped on board in Chicago. We're looking to do that with all of our partners in the automobile industry as well. From the remarketing side, we're doing the same things that Ford and Wells Fargo and Chrysler are doing, Mercedes-Benz is doing, at a subprime level. So we're trying to get our cars ready at a certified level to where the end user doesn't have to do anything to those cars. And we've seen a significant increase in our retention values on those cars versus not doing any recon at all. So thank all of our partners out there.
As we were talking this morning, I thought it was interesting, Kurt, you and Brooks talking, Kurt seeing on the sell sheet the buyers of Mercedes-Benz vehicles through the remarketing channel. You said you saw a lot of drive time up there, and Brooks said yes, but that actually is turning over to Carvana. And so I think there's probably some awareness and some understanding of the Carvana model, but I'm sure David would like to hear more about it as well and understand a little bit better about what's happening there. So Brooks, you in a unique perspective in terms of the drive time relationships and what you've got going there. Can you share some of that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So drive time and our founder, we had a startup 2.5 to 3 years ago called Carvana, and it's a 100% online dealership. It spun out of the drive time world. And they basically have a camera and a reconditioning facility, and have really revolutionized some of the things that are going on in the automobile industry with e-signatures and things like that, to where we don't have to have a customer come in and spend 4 hours in a dealership or take them an hour and a half to find a car. They can go online, search through a list of anywhere from 400 to 500 cars, do everything online. Our Go Financial is our outside-facing finance company. You can get direct financing through that. So it's really a one-stop shop on the internet of buying a car. If you live, the first one was in Atlanta. If you lived in Nashville, Tennessee, and you wanted to fly in, they'd pick you up at the airport and give you your car. They built an interesting thing in Nashville. It opened 2 weeks ago, I believe. It's called a vending machine, and it's a 4-story glass building. And imagine when you go buy your Coke out of the vending machine, goes over, grabs your Coke, brings it over and drops it off. That's exactly what we're doing with cars in Nashville. That's the first model for that. There's going to be anywhere from 6 to 7 of those across the country. That price point goes anywhere from an $8,000 car up to a $75,000 car. So it's a very unique way to sell a car, really revolutionizing what the industry is doing on the retail side. It's also helped us on our subprime side with how we get customers in and out of a dealership faster, with qualifying leads and really giving the customer online what their credit is. And I know that's scary for a lot of dealers out there, that you're going to tell a customer, this is what you can buy, and this is what it's going to cost you. But as we go into the millennials and some of the younger people in the world aren't used to walking into a dealership and being told no about financing. So they hide behind that computer, and when they click the button, they're like, please let it say I'm approved. So that's where we're going with Carvana. That's kind of the thought process behind it. At 6 locations now across the country. Expect to sell somewhere around 20,000 cars next year. So it's an interesting game changer in the market. So,
David Nelson from Hendrick, I mean, what are you guys thinking about this? I mean, it is interesting. It's unique. I see the niche. What's the conversation inside your office?
Did it get hot in here?
It's getting hot, yeah.
We do. We talk about it all the time. We're also looking at what AutoNation is doing with their online presence. We obviously feel that there's always going to be a place for the sales team and the sales person to make a sale, but it is compelling what they are doing. If you haven't been to the website and looked at the photographs that they do and the process that they use, it's absolutely amazing. And the fact that you can put in a code and out comes your car is really scary to us. But I do think that there's only a certain segment of the population that is comfortable buying the second largest purchase they're going to make in their life, probably, through a vending machine. Now, we're training the people to do this. I mean, it's becoming a point-and-click culture. So we're putting it in our basket, and then we go to the end and we check out, and it comes in the mail or by drone or whatever. So it's only a natural extension, and I think I admire it. And it's making the rest of us better, frankly. So.
If I could add to that
Yes, ma'am.
as well,
Yeah.
because, almost every day you see a new startup, whether it's, customer to customer or, business to customer. It's very interesting, and, a lot of the models really kind of are answering a younger person's or the need kind of for speed. So there's a lot of transparency and a lot of innovation behind making sure that a customer has the transaction the way they want it. So I think you're exactly right. I think we can help our dealers through our certified pre-owned programs and training to really kind of teach our dealers how to understand and address a different kind of customer. Because I think you're going to need to do both. You're always going to need to have a strong dealer body because you're always going to need to have that dealer presence for sales, for service, et cetera, and really kind of explaining the vehicle. But, as well as a different model where you take that vehicle to the customer too, it's going to be viable. And I think, the startups make us all better, and they challenge us to think outside of our normal way of doing business. So I think they're really interesting. But as I say, I think you're going to continue to see people pushing the envelope on how they want to do business with us as dealers or manufacturers, and I think it'll make us all better as well.
So one of the things to add to that, which will be interesting to a lot of you in this room, is Carvana's also trying to buy cars completely online without people. So a lot of you guys are sitting out there going, how are you going to do that? So they're using analytics, they're using pre-sale feeds, they're using different things that are coming straight from the auction, and they're testing how with the standardization of CRs and things like that, how they're going to be able to go and basically have a computer tell them and automatically bid at auctions across the country. Now, we have a buying team of 50 people at Drive Time, and we think they're a little crazy sometimes, but in the first couple of runs that they tried, it's been fairly successful. Are they going to be able to buy 100% of their cars like that? I don't think so, but that's where this company and their vision of Carvana is going, is try to really revolutionize what in the retail and the wholesale end of the business is going.
So an interesting opportunity, Kurt, for an MB on demand from that standpoint, but also you have the other side of the Mercedes-Benz dealer, which is your primary job to make sure that those guys have the cars that they need as well.
Well, I've got both the pre-owned operations and the remarketing under me. On the remarketing side, we look at everybody equally.
Mm-hmm.
We want to sell a car wherever there's a need. And we look at Carvana as a very interesting new business model. We also look at what AutoNation is doing. We look at the Hendricks Group. We see the success there. We see the success of Echo Park out in Denver that Sonic has opened up, and certainly we look at CarMax and Texas Direct, and we see a lot of people bringing a lot of new ideas on how to retail these cars. And we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make it easy for any operator, no matter what size, to purchase a vehicle. That's one of the reasons that we set up MB On Demand, because it's 24/7 shopping. You can buy an MB anytime that you want. When that hole opens up on your front line, walk inside your office and fill that hole right now.
Yep.
That's the intention. So we're very much in tune with where both of you are going.
Absolutely. We have just a minute or so left, so we're going to let this fall on our National Remarketing Executive of the Year to leave us with a parting thought, some wisdom from Wells Fargo. So Howard.
Everybody are worried right now what I might say.
Exactly.
Well, just to comment a little bit on the millennial generation, because I have one, and we speak, and I just shake my head. It's just unbelievable. I mean, when I first got into retail in the early 80s to the late 80s, the average customer might be in the showroom for 3 to 4 hours. It's just how it was. Today, I read that if they're in there more than 30 to 45 minutes, they're gonna turn around and walk out. And when they walk in, they know exactly what they want. So I think the models you guys are working on are really, really applicable. And I think they definitely have a space to grow as well. As far as a parting thought goes, I mean, our industry is changing rapidly, and we're the kind of folks that adapt to it and change to it. And we will do that, and we always come out successful, even with the challenges of the economy that you mentioned. It could come and hit us at any time. There's many things that could hit us at any time, and we react quickly, and we've done it in the past, and we'll do it in the future. And we'll be successful, because that's what we do.
Absolutely.
And I just appreciate the opportunity to be up here.
Well, thank you, and congratulations again to
Thank you.
And a round of applause for our panel this morning, please. Jennifer, thank you. Min, thank you very much.
Thank you.